everyone. Welcome to the show. Well, my guest today is the editor-in-chief of the Nancy is starting over. Here we go. My guest is the editor-in-chief of Chronicles Magazine. He was born in the Netherlands and grew up in Port Alberni, and there's a whole bunch of other things to find out about him. And I practiced his name and I had it right for a minute. So let's see if I can still do that. Time to meet Jos van Poederooyen.
That sounds like me. Hello.
Hello. So sorry about screwing up the beginning, but I do a lot of screw ups. So I figure I'm just leaving it. That's part of who I am.
It's like you're making me feel comfortable.
So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Nancy. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell me about being the editor-in-chief at Chronicles Magazine.
It's first off a dream position come true. On my personal vision board since about 2003, I've wanted to pursue video and photography and audio and to create things with it. I did memes for the Vancouver Sun, and I did my own little music videos, and I always had this idea that I wanted to include music and photography and sort of roll it all together. And then Harmony Chronicles came along, thank you very much to Tim Steinruck, and there was a fit. They needed somebody, and here I am, and I'm thrilled to be tied up in that position.
So now the purpose of the magazine is to support up and coming musicians. Is that right?
It's all about independent artists. We want to be a support mechanism because we have 3 radio stations, Cat Power Hit Radio. We've got Cat Country Radio and Cherokee Nation Radio. We've got a couple of TV stations, and we have a number of other factions that can support musicians, and with people can get in the magazine, on the radio station, have their video played on our TV stations. So we're a full service and support network for independent.
Very nice. Now I know you have a couple of sons who are musicians. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, yes.
So now you've seen them, or you watched them move up and do really well for themselves.
Mm-hmm. It's been a thrill. The first one told me he jumped out of the back of the pickup truck at 10 years old, and he said, "Dad, I know what I want to do with my life." And I said, "Great, what is it?" He said, "Rock star drummer."
Good for him.
But I will tell you, since that day, I've never seen somebody work so hard and be dedicated to his craft as much as that was. And he didn't get a drum kit for about 1.5 years,
right?
Because he had to learn all the. And so he was dedicated, and the other one came along just a natural, and he spit himself into the music industry very well also as a producer.
How awesome is that, eh? Now you yourself began playing piano at 10, correct?
That's right. My sister got lessons, and I wanted to get in there too. I learned classical, which was interesting. But I'm glad that I moved over to contemporary music. Classical is satisfying, but I don't think it developed me too much as a musician.
Okay.
Yeah, I became a very good piano player.
Right, and you played the piano. Where was I read that? You played in restaurants for about 9 years, right?
That's right. It was a great tenure at a restaurant in Port Alberni, quite nice upscale restaurant. And they had a beautiful grand piano, and I got to play in there 3-4 nights a week. It was like a gift, really.
Yeah, how nice is that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So now later you were also with the band, or around that same time, was it? You were also with the band Sassy?
That's right. We somebody saw me playing at the restaurant, and one thing led to another, and I got into that band and I loved it, and we had a number of incarnations, but I really found out about being a musician then, because now I was collaborating with other people rather than just being a solo pianist, which
Right.
is, you know.
Was it?
So that, go
So
ahead.
I was just going to ask, was it difficult going from being a solo performer to being in a band?
No, I think what I had to do is simply reel myself in a little bit, because there was this newfound freedom,
Mm,
the volume and the stage and the immediate response. Whereas in the restaurant, even if I really killed a great song, you know, there's nobody going to cheer or clap or anything.
right.
And then with my gregarious nature, being on stage, just it seemed to be such a fit for me. I really enjoyed that time.
That is so cool. I like that. Now, and so the band, are you still with the band?
No,
Oh, okay.
we gave that up a number of years ago, and then I moved to Vancouver.
Oh,
And
okay. No, you have a lot of interests like photography, and you've shot runway fashion. Like that was
yes,
something different. Wow.
and again, something that a person just falls into, and when the opportunity comes, you know, it's like you can wait for your ship to come in, but you still have to show up at the dock when it does. And that's really what it was like for me, because of my love for photography.
Right.
And then I got the opportunity to shoot some runway, and then I just got into it. It became it for about 4 years of my life. It was a lot of fun, a lot of pictures and time. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine. And let's see, I'm just reading some of that with the photography. You did photograph live music, landscape, grand openings, architecture, and found beauty.
Yeah, yeah. Found beauty is something where I had a website, and I just believe that if you look close enough, anything can become beautiful. Like a oil spill, for example, on the ground. It's pollution, but if you look at it, you might be able to find the reflection of a dandelion in it. And if you shoot that properly, it's really quite something.
Right, or see that like the rainbow type of colors in it, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so I wanted to just shoot little pieces of things and call it found beauty.
Cool. Now, also you've been had an interest in writing for a long time, correct?
Yes, I've loved it. I wasn't allowed to go to kindergarten because I just came from Europe, and they had a rule back then. And I felt kind of cheated. And my mom, she taught me English and how to read and write. And from that point on, I've just loved words. I think words and well-written articles, it's so stimulating, isn't it?
That's an interesting thing. Like I when I was in school, you know, we had them, we call them compositions, but I guess they're essays. And I love writing, but I to this day I don't spell very well. And for me, it was always about communicating. If you can understand what I'm saying, spelling shouldn't matter. I want to know if you agree or disagree with that.
Well, I do agree with it more now than I ever have. And while we were all trained to be sticklers about spelling, that's really not the thing. Like classical music, they wanted you to play it in a very, very particular kind of way.
Sure.
And I don't know, I think if you can spell a word and I can read it and make the sense out of it, I don't care how it's spelled. I want to hear what you're sharing with me.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I feel validated now.
There you go.
Because I have to learn, we have to take them home for our parents to sign, because I get like 10 out of 100, no matter how much I studied. So I learned to forge my father's signature and sign my own spelling tests.
I love it.
There to the world.
Yeah, well, just getting by.
Yeah, you know, you have to do what you have to do. No, so you created stories, and you can, one of the things you were good at or aren't good at is making a bad story good, right? Or you're talking about the writing, the way it's written, I would assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you give us an example?
Well, I think that when we're speaking, as an example, we use our tone and we use our eyes to communicate. We use an awful lot, but when you're reading, it's the author's work to really put that in a way so it doesn't just draw you into the sentence, but it pulls you into the next one, or it makes you read more with a bit of hesitation, depending on everything. And I think good writing creates both a feel, a nuance, a cadence, just like music again. And that's why we wrap all these things together as art. We call it all independent art, whether you're an author or a musician. But I think a good author can take a bad sentence and turn it around and make people just love that thing.
Very good. Yeah, for sure. Now, you wrote a book?
I did. The book, followingamelia.com. The .com is DOTCALM, and that stands for Digital Peace. And it's kind of, the book is actually my frustration of how the world is at times. And I just wanted to get it off my chest. And it took about 2 years, and I did. And it was quite cathartic. And you hear that, but now I understand why it's true as well. I feel like I've moved forward now and I've got it off my chest.
So if somebody wanted to buy a copy, where would they get it?
We're at followingamelia.com.
Yes.
Right on the website, you can get that.
Oh, okay, great. So they just put, that's the website, followingamelia.com is the website?
That's right.
Okay, great. I'll make sure that it's included. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So now you had a column in the Vancouver Sun.
Pardon?
You wrote a column for the Vancouver Sun.
I certainly did. It was called Reflections, and it started in 2005. It meant a lot to me because my mom always wanted me to be a writer, and she got to see the first reflection, and then she passed away the next day.
Sorry,
and so it's always kind of that. But it was beautiful because the Sun wanted to move in 2005, and they realized what was happening with newspapers. And they included me, and it was quite popular. And I would have a picture perhaps of a little a swan baby, and just coming out of its shell. And then I'd write something like, it's okay to be in a shell, but you have to know when to get on with your life.
Oh, okay.
So it would be motivational,
yes,
and philosophical at times, but it would be a bright spot in the newspaper for people.
Nice though to be able to have that. That is pretty cool, right?
You know, you see yourself in the Ottawa Citizen, or in the Calgary Herald, Vancouver Sun, and I was thinking to myself, wow, I have a voice. It was, I felt very proud with that.
That is awesome. I love that. Now, where are we? Okay, so your personal belief is that everybody does better when they're collaborating and contributing. Yes?
That's what the book is about. That's what Harmony Chronicles Magazine is about. I believe that if we all contribute and collaborate together, it stops being work, and it just becomes this team thing that almost swells up around you, and it builds your pride, and it builds your determination, and even the stamina to get things done. It's easier when there's other people around. And so that is my core belief for, I think, the direction for all of us, really, and exactly what we want to do for those independent artists that are out there. We want to be.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I've met musicians that are very self-centered, and they don't like to share space or time. And I think you're doing yourself such a disservice.
Boy, I agree. Sometimes that whole thing about what you're holding, it's an old parable, but what you're holding in your hands tightly so you don't lose it, there's no room for anything else to come in.
Yeah.
And I think that if you think you've written one hit song as an example, and then you think you've got that formula and you want to hang on to it yourself, I think you begin to lose your grip on that. it's kind of like water. It's really tough to hold on to.
Yeah. You know, good comparison is like I did both stand-up and improv. So improv is the freedom. It's total freedom.
Yeah.
Do what you enjoy doing, like that, making jokes and stuff like that. But now you don't have a script to follow.
Yeah.
It was like that type of thing, right?
More spontaneous, a truer reflection of the inner qualities that we let shine from time to time.
Yes, and at the same time collaborating with teammates.
And it's inspiring. And you know, a tree is a tree, but a forest is something majestic, and we see it over and over in life itself.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So if people want to get a hold of you, well, I've got the Harmony Chronicle website, so I will include that, right? They can get a hold of you.
Thank you.
And you're also on Facebook and probably all the other social media spots, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, I am. I'm on Facebook and Harmony. Jost van Poederooyen. I just go with my JOS. Usually finds me pretty quickly. And let's see, where else am I? All the regular places, I think, is the line.
Sounds good. Yeah. Well, we're going to end it there. Just stay on camera. So everybody, you've been listening to John. Here we go again. Jost van Poederooyen. Poederooyen. Like I'm French, I should know that.
It's lyrical when done right.
So thank you for everybody for watching this show. I hope you like and save and subscribe, because you know that makes me feel good that I'm doing something right. So take care, everybody. Be nice and peace out.
Bye-bye.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.